Good evening. We bring you the latest in the world of sports. I'm Paulo De Rosario.
We give you the conversations you want to hear from your favorite icons and athletes. I'm Zihir Basho. Tonight, we've got national team athletes and the NBA, but we're kicking things off with the PBA Governors Cup Finals.
Buckle up, sports fans. Let's get in the game. We are one night away from Game 2 of the PBA Governors Cup Finals, and now it's time to take a look at the biggest matchups to watch out for in this epic series. Now, helping us out is PBA Rush analyst, Coach Mark Molina. Coach, it's always great having you here. Unfortunately, we won't have you here for the entire show, but we will make sure that we get the most out of you here today. So, you take a look. We're gonna ask the hard questions muna, Z. Oh, because Coach Mark loves hard questions. Import matchup between Barangay Ginebra and TNT Tropang Giga will always be interesting because you have an NBA vet in Rondae Hollis-Jefferson and a guy who we consider almost as basically the Michael Jordan of imports here in the Philippines in Justin Brownlee. Take a look at this matchup. How can either of these players get the edge over the other? Who do you have over the other? There are just so many questions with regards to these two.
First of all, in that game, stats-wise, it was even.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about game 1.
Yeah.
But I don't consider it even because Justin Brownlee made the early work. He was able to set the tone in that first half. I think he had like 22 points in that first half. Got that lead for Barangay Ginebra, and TNT never recovered. So in that game 1, advantage definitely to Justin Brownlee. So to me, who sets the tone early in this matchup? I expect RHJ to have a big start in game number 2. They need to. TNT needs to grab a lead early in this game to make this competitive. And I think RHJ will be very aggressive from the start in game 2.
Now let's move over to the locals. Number 1 locals, Mikey Williams versus Scotty Thompson. How crucial are their roles for their teams?
Very different players. Mikey Williams is the better scorer, but Scotty is of course, we all know what Scotty does. He is the complete player, all-around player, the best all-around player in the league MVP. But 2 Philippine Cups ago, Mikey Williams was the best player for the conference. If Mikey Williams can get to that form again, then TNT can win this series. If we see the Mikey Williams that we've been seeing this conference, inconsistent, he scored what? I think 21 points in game 1, but very low field goal percentage.
Yeah.
That's not going to do it. It has to be Mikey Williams scoring in the high 20s, 25, 26, 27 points a game, and shooting at a high percentage. On the other hand, Scotty is a given. It's pretty much what you can count on him pretty much the same way every single game, which is not Mikey Williams.
23 points actually itong si Mikey Williams, but then to your point, not even in the high 20s. So you look at Mikey. Itong si Scotty Thompson, his 8th career triple-double with 10, 13, and 11, and he has had so many close triple-doubles before. But one of the more intriguing matchups, Coach, is the fact that si Calvin Oftana and Jamie Malonzo, the younger players here, the longer players here for both these two teams have been making such a big difference. And not only that, they guard each other also.
Absolutely. To me, this is the most fun matchup in this series. Two guys who are very athletic, very similar players. These two guys can hit the outside shot. In game number 1, I thought Jamie got the better of Calvin a bit. And I think he's the reason why they won that game. I mean, Scotty got that triple-double. Brownlee scored, of course, as expected. But the 21 points of Malonzo in that game 1, I thought really did the deal there for Coach Tim Cohn. Calvin was not too bad, not too shabby. I think he played well.
Yeah.
But he's coming off the bench. I don't know. Coach Jolas might rethink and maybe Calvin Oftana starts game 2.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. Do you feel that, given the type of production Calvin Oftana gives, that starting Calvin Oftana is the obvious change that Coach Jolas has to make to match up with the firepower of Barangay Ginebra? Considering that we're still asking the question, Jimmy Malonzo is the 3rd best, 2nd best player on the team because you have a Christian Stanhardinger and a Scotty Thompson there. And if you look at the other end, I mean Brownlee as well, maybe 4th, right? And Calvin Oftana, on the other hand, coming off the bench and is still one of the best offensive producers of TNT.
I will, because you cannot fall behind here. If you're TNT, if you look at the TNT starting lineup, of course Chua got injured, but Justin Chua played like 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Varilla started and played like 5 or 6 minutes. So my question is, why do you need to start Paul Varilla there? You're looking at at this Ginebra starting lineup. 4 players played in the 40s, pretty much in the 40s. The 4 players that you mentioned. So Tim Cone sticking to what is working. Now, if you're Coach Jojo Lastimosa, maybe you need to start strong. And how do you start strong? You put in your best 5 players on the floor, and that includes Calvin Oftana.
We've talked about the matchups here. Ginebra winning game number 1 for TNT. Who do you think needs to step up so much more for them to maybe catch game number 2?
Yeah.
Definitely, it's Aral Pogoy. Aral Pogoy was the biggest disappointment. I hate to say this because I love the guy. He's my
RRO.
inaanak. He's my inaanak in his wedding. So I love the guy so much. But we have to call a spade. You have to call a spade. Because RR struggled big time in game number 1, and TNT could not recover from it. I expect him to bounce back tomorrow.
Well, see, Roger Ray Pogoy, only 6 points in that game. Of course, I was waiting for the opportunity to call him Pogdonovich, but it was not going to happen. Of course, you take a look at all of that with RR Pogoy having to make a big difference here and change things. Still, a lot of people are saying, are TNT really that far away from Barangay Ginebra, or do you feel that it's a closer series than Game 1 suggested?
It will be. I thought, before Game 1, I thought it was 50-50. But Ginebra showed how much they can dominate TNT.
Yeah.
Playing mostly their starting lineup, plus Pringle.
Yeah.
It's like a 6-man rotation here for Coach Tim Cone. Now, the question is, can you do this for 7 games? Maybe in the mind of Coach Tim Cone, maybe I don't need 7 games.
Yeah,
maybe this ends in 4 and 5.
Yeah.
But I think it should be more competitive than what we saw in Game 1. But I think Game 2 is the crucial game here. If TNT can pull off Game 2, it might be an extended series.
Oh, and speaking of Game 2 of the best-of-7 series between Barangay Ginebra and the TNT Tropang Giga happens tomorrow, April 12 at the Smart Araneta Coliseum. You can catch that live on PBA Rush Signal Channels 260 HD and 90 SD, also available for free on Signal Play. Coach Mark stays with us because after the break, we'll look into the future as we officially enter the postseason of the NBA. Stay tuned, you're watching The Game. Welcome back to the game. The NBA postseason is here, which means it's time to place your bets on your favorite playoff teams. But before we get there, let's take a look at the play-ins first. Still with us to drop some NBA predictions is basketball analyst Coach Mark Molina. All right, Coach Mark, right now we will answer the main question. Who will make it out of the NBA play-ins?
Let's start with the West.
Yes.
Because there are many Lakers fans in this room. I don't know kung magalit sila o hindi. So, let's take a look at the Lakers. They have a matchup against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Who gets out of the West? The other matchup will also be the New Orleans Pelicans and the OKC Thunder. Between the four of them, who makes it out?
Lakers take the 7th seed. Minnesota is a bit of a disarray right now with what happened to Gobert. But I think the guy that they will miss the most is not Rudy Gobert, but it's Jaden McDaniels.
Yeah.
Jaden McDaniels maybe a top on-the-ball defender for forwards in this league. So without him, expect LeBron James to have a big game tomorrow. 18 points only for LeBron the last time he faced Minnesota.
Yeah.
And Jaden McDaniels. It's going to be different tomorrow. I think LeBron has a big game and Lakers take the 7th seed.
And of course, the 8th seed, for those wondering, will go to, according to Coach, the New Orleans Pelicans, who will beat the Timberwolves after, and OKC first, in your predictions.
Well, I mentioned the absence of those key players. Of course, Gobert, I think, will play in the second game, but McDaniels will not. Naz Reid will not.
Yeah.
And I think those two absences will tilt the favor towards New Orleans. And without McDaniels, I think Brandon Ingram's going to have a big game in both games against OKC and against Minnesota, and New Orleans will sneak into that 8th slot.
All right, let's move over to the East. Okay, so far we got Miami Heat and the Atlanta Hawks. 7 and 8 will remain 7 and 8.
I think they will. With the Hawks, I think the Hawks should secure the 7th seed tomorrow against Atlanta. Jimmy Butler is a different person when it comes to the playoffs. He averaged 27 last year, and he led his team all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals, only to lose to the Celtics in 7 games.
Right.
So this is a capable team with Jimmy Buckets right there in the playoffs. For the 8th seed, I think Atlanta will take care of Toronto. I think I see Toronto
beating the Bulls,
the Bulls, and then I think Atlanta, because of the home court advantage and because of DeJounte Murray. More DeJounte than Trae Young for me, because Trae Young had an up and down season. His shooting is not the same as it was before, but the setting factor there has been DeJounte Murray.
So the predictions of Coach Mark are for the West, the Los Angeles Lakers and the New Orleans Pelicans will advance from the play-in, and the Miami Heat and Atlanta Hawks from the East will advance from the play-in as well. Much to the happy news of all of our crew members here who are fans of the Lakers. Coach, maraming salamat. You take a look at all of this. Is there any team here amongst your picks that you feel you're medyo, shaky about, that could actually not make it to the playoffs? Or are you confident in each and every one?
Pelicans, Wolves, I think would be a great matchup.
Yeah.
Last minute, I chose the Pelicans, but if Minnesota beats them for number 8, I won't be surprised.
All right. So there you have it. Coach Mark, maraming salamat. We really appreciate the time. In other news, the Global Port team, led by Representative Mikey Romero, completed a historic comeback in the World Polo League. Global Port made a 14-1 run that eventually led them to victory 17-13 over Travesio. The come-from-behind victory was the largest comeback in the history of the competition. Sapo Caset scored 9 goals that gave him the MVP award via unanimous decision. After the break, we'll catch up with the Philippine national handball team as they look ahead to the World Championship. Stay tuned. You're watching The Game.
Aguilar daw. Ayos ka na po. Bye-bye po.
Sok ito, sok. Wag sokoro, sok.
Ay, nako, sir.
Welcome back. You're watching the game. It's official. We have a new national team set to compete on the world stage. The Philippine national handball team has secured a spot at the World Championship after their successful showing at the 9th Asian Beach Handball Championship. Joining us tonight are members of the squad, Rafael Aguilar, Socorro Borja, and Ja Mateo. Ladies, congratulations. Welcome to the game. Really proud to have you all here, and congratulations to making it to the World Championships. If I'm not mistaken, Rap, I'll start with you. First chance ninyo, first attempt ninyo to actually make it to the Asian Championships, and all of a sudden, nag-qualify na kayo sa World Championships. What was different about the team? What was so special about yung team na to na first try ninyo? Uy, mag-qualify na tayo for the Worlds.
For me, parang ano siya, yung nangyari doon na laro namin, parang siyang ano siya, challenging siya doon. Challenging siya kasi, yun nga, first team lang kami, 2 months lang yung preparation namin. And then, ang kalaban namin is marami na siya na exposure like Vietnam and Hong Kong and Indonesian women's team. So parang, ano din sa amin, para siyang, ano siya, para siyang fulfillment namin.
Alright, let's go over Sok. You were once part of the national team before of the handball. Tapos ngayon, after nawala yung team, tas ngayon nagbuo ulit, anong feeling na, 2 months preparation and then pumunta na kayo sa tournament, nanalo ng championship, and now you're in the spot in the 2024 World Championship. Kamusta yung feeling na now you're back with hardwares around your neck? Ano feeling?
Siguro sobrang blessed kasi nga after short preparation, nakamit namin yung goal na makasama sa World Championship. And then yun nga, since new yung team, so parang ang saya kasi hindi lahat makakarating doon. Although 4 lang yung teams na nag-compete, and hindi rin naman namin in-expect na 4 lang kami na maglalaro that league. Kasi ang sabi sa amin na nung technical meeting na doon pa lang na-inform na may mga nag-back out na team. So yun, so excited of course na makapaglaro ng World Championship kasi since ako, hindi lang sila yung first time.
Yes.
Pagdating ng World Championship, first time ko na rin yun.
Absolutely. And I just want to acknowledge the fact na nandito pala yung trophy.
Yes.
This is obviously the second place trophy for the 9th Asian Beach Handball Championships that they did bring in over here. And of course, so may nag-back out ng mga teams. So four teams yung nag-compete sa competition na yun. Nung nalaman nyo yun, ano yung mentality nyo going into this, knowing that, okay, mas klaro na yung route going into yung World Championships, mas klaro na yung route in terms of winning a medal going into the podium?
Siyempre, lang kami, nag-stick lang kami doon sa kung ano yung goal namin nung nagpunta kami doon. Wala naman kaming binago. Nag-focus lang kami sa game plan ng coaches kung paano kami nagpunta doon. Ayun pa rin, nag-stick lang kami doon sa kung anong plan nila, kung ano yung game plan.
And of course, all you girls play in the beach. You also are a beach athlete. And
Yes.
you take a look at may indoor handball rin, may beach, obviously, where you won championship ninyo. Z, how impressed are you at the fact that they won the hardware on the sand
Yes.
playing handball?
I mean, it's hard to compare sports in general, but Rap, could you share with us how much different, how much harder it is to play on sand?
Actually, Z and I, nag-partner kami ng beach volley before.
Yeah.
So, mas mahirap talaga yung buhangin actually. Mabigat, as in mabigat.
And of course, syempre, grabe rin yung learnings nyo that we can obviously expect from this. So, you take a look at yung mga learnings that you're gonna try and take in from your experience na to going into yung World Championships. What do you feel that the team grew in the most in terms of yung experience ninyo that you're going to try to develop more going to the World Championships?
Siguro, kasi more on game situation May mga times kasi na minsan mali yung decisions namin every play. So siguro kailangan naming ma-practice na yun nga, yung pressure during the game kasi since lahat ng nakalaban namin is marami na silang na-experience na league. Kami yun lang talaga together. So siguro mas okay, mas kailangan na ma-develop namin yung pressure under parang play under pressure talaga.
Yeah.
And then yung decision making lalo na sa mga crucial points kasi mabilis eh. Yung 10 minutes na one set kasi sobrang bilis. Kahit lamang ka ng 10 points ng 5 minutes, kayang bawiin yun up to the end of the set eh. So yun siguro yung mga dapat naming ma-practice pa kasi yun, mabilis masyado yung laro, pwedeng magbago after 2 sets.
Alright, so ano sa tingin nyo, Za, after competing in Bali and training there right after the tournament, ano sa tingin nyo yung mababaon yung learnings and experiences into the World Championships?
Yung learnings na nakuha namin doon, syempre yung kailangan, lagi kang maglaro ng buo yung loob mo para sa bansa. With pride, maglaro ka with pride and with a big heart. Kasi nung pumunta kami doon sa Bali, parang kami yung uniform eh. Kami talaga yung uniform team. So sa 2 months na yon, sabi din namin pagdating namin doon, hindi kami uuwi nang wala kaming maipapanalo. So naglaro lang kami as a team and with pride, with a big heart. So ayun pa rin yung babaunin namin hanggang sa World Championship.
Pride, big heart, and now a couple of medals to take home, as well as a trophy and an appearance in the World Championships really soon. Ladies and gentlemen, Rap Aguilar, Sok Borja, and Ja Mateo, maraming salamat and congratulations once more. We can't wait to see what you do in the World Championships.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alright, that's it for tonight. Thank you for joining us. I'm Zihir Basho.
And I'm Paul De Rosario. This has been The Game.